Welcome to my oral presentation for the Positions and Practices module of the MA Photography course. My name is Royden Woodford and I will introduce my current practices and my plans for a research project. That's me, aged about 7, on the roof of my granddad's boat. This is me more recently hanging off the side of a lifeboat. This allows me to capture shots like this. There are strict rules within the RNLI about the use of cameras during shouts, as some of the situations can be macabre and warlike, or when the time for action is required, there is no spare seat for a photographer. However, there are many aspects of the lifeboat crew that can be captured. My access to these situations creates more decisive images with the crew member having fun training or the harrowed look after the experience of a shout. The type of image often seen in the war reporter's work, such as Don McCullum. A future project is to capture the life of crew members at work, at home with families, training, the what's behind the RNLI. However, even with the individual's agreement, this work requires the agreement of the RNLI. A larger area of my practice is landscape and seascape photography, with the Jurassic coast as inspiration. Frequently is about sunrise or sunset in a dramatic Dorset location. However, my work is not just at the behest of the sun. Roland Barthes's deconstruction of images leads to an aspect he calls studium. The pretty, the usual, the known, and I feel that my landscape work to date, however pretty or colourful, falls directly into this group. It has become nothing more than a collection of pictures with a simple press of a button, always avoiding people to distract from the beauty of nature. Each day a replication of the same image with a different sky or wave splash. Photographers descending to Dorset to collect the same set of images with no visual interpretation of their own, collecting the next sunrise just to gain a brief exposure to the social media junkies with another pretty picture. My longer exposure work is used in a myriad of ways to extend the visual experience to produce stronger images. The simplistic isolation of the groin, leading the viewer into the image of nothing. I believe that this work has more behind it with the intention of raising questions like, where's it going? What's out there? So, maybe engaging with the viewer more. Michael Kenner extends this canvas with a reflection that becomes part of the isolated branch, adding depth and further dimensions to the stretched wide-angle shot of the pier. Is this dimension time? The longer exposure is capturing time as it passes the lens. Is this what we see when we look at the streaking clouds, the static image having life breathed into it? I feel that this aspect of my practice captures the life, with the streaking clouds being part of time. The waterfall seemingly paused in an instant, collecting time with the assimilation of water drops, creating an image that was never there, creating what some would consider an abstract image, which is what I feel is supported by Barthes's statement. The important thing is that the photograph possesses evidential force and that its testimony bears not on the object but on time. Hiroshi Sugimoto work on the candle where he photographs the life of a burning candle. Is this photograph valid? Is my work valid if it can't be seen? As Hiroshi Sugimoto states, however fake the subject, once photographed is as good as real. And I have to agree with the application of time, the validity is confirmed, showing that longer exposure can create an image never possible in an instant. Storm chasing is dramatic when successful, still requires long exposure. The human eye cannot see a bolt of lightning, it merely thinks it has been seen. However, when captured in a photograph, the whole bolt is revealed. Clearly you can see the image, so for my work the bolt of lightning is real, as is my image. With only a few weeks' exposure to the MA course, my perception of my own practice has been dramatically altered away from the repetitive landscape to produce very different images. Taking images, looking for the reason the image exists beyond the pretty that I have done so well in the past. Finding a direction. For the research project I have a working title of A Pipe No Longer a Pipe, rejecting Barthes's view that the referent of an image always remains within the image and that a pipe is a pipe. During history, there are distinct periods of painting such as the detailed work of Caravaggio in the 17th century, through to the Impressionists such as Claude Monet. Monet's House of Parliament, I feel, moved him away from pure Impressionism to approach a more abstract image. Paul Cézanne, another painter from the same period, whose work I feel started the building blocks for the transition from the more accepted painting of the 19th century and the bright new world of the 20th century. I find Bather's Nine more abstract than many of his other works, possibly allowing the abstract work that followed during the 20th century with the artists such as Gerhard Richter, whose Reclining Nude shows the now more common abstract art which artists such as Jackson Pollock and Paul Klee embraced, taking abstract to completion. The Fate of Animals in 1939 by Franz Marc, showing the use of the bold and strong colours, creates a painting that allows the person viewing to take away their own meaning from the image. This transition from fine art landscape to abstract is the progression in my practice and where I see my work heading, producing images in the more abstract nature. Further inspired by the song Windmills of the Mind, with round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, with the line like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind. This song invokes strong imagery for each person that participates in the song. In their own way, how does one see the windmill in the mind? Is it clear, or is it distorted like a dream state? How does one see the wheel within the wheel moving forwards? The song reflects time, or the passage of time, which is where I feel there is a strong link to the long exposure photography that I undertake. Utilising long exposure to engage the viewer to be more participatory in the meaning of the image. The images are not clear photographs and are not fine art. They are images that create a mental picture for the viewer. But until the viewer has participated in the picture has no meaning for them. From the work of Sugimoto and my own work, it is clear that photography and visual perception can be manipulated by the application of time. I see a very viable project, the extra punctum as described by Barths. The project is not confined to 35mm, it allows for other mediums such as cameraless use of photographic papers and pinhole photography. The images produced can be abstract by nature or with the manipulation become abstract. I see further research into how people perceive images and the effect of colours or images with moods and feelings. I intend to undertake this in my local area of Dorset to minimise my impact on the environment. Thank you for listening to my presentation.